Hi, my name is Gats, Grandfather Librarian, and welcome to a new video. Today I will be playing my TBR game for the month of October, and I'm really excited. Initially, I wasn't planning to play my TBR game. I was going to play something else, but I just really wanted to play this. I just really missed it because I also hadn't done it in September. And I was like, I just really wanna do this one. So here I am. We're playing it. So yeah. In October, I will be participating in TBR Harvest, which is hosted by Leandra from Land TBR Zero. It's a readathon. There was 3 activity sheets that you can do. We have a pumpkin patch, we have a booktuber bingo, and then we have someone is texting me. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. So where was I? 3 activity sheets. There is a pumpkin patch, there is a booktuber bingo where a bunch of different booktubers provided a prompt, and I'm one of those. So I need to do the bingo board, obviously, and I'm also going to do pumpkin patch. I really hope I get my prompt. We don't know all the prompts yet because she's like doing it like actual bingo, so you have to get a card with just the numbers, and then she pulls the different numbers, and then those are the prompts you're going to get. So you don't get to do all the prompts. So I hope that my prompt's on the bingo board. If not, I might even switch bingo boards. But I don't know all the prompts yet, so I can't prepare for them, but I will try to get at least one book on there for my own prompt. And yeah, really excited for that. And then, we'll see what this ends up with. There's also a scavenger hunt, which is basically like for every day you get a prompt for something on the cover, and then you have to find the book, but not necessarily read it, just share, hey, I found a book with whatever the item is at that day on the cover. So I'm going to do that, but that doesn't really affect the TBR necessarily. I have plans with that, but that's not for now. I'm just going to play the game to see what comes up. I'm still doing Rainey's TBR series read-down challenge, and I'm behind on that. I know that, and I thought it was hopeless, but then I calculated if I read 4 books I made a list of series that it would take me to complete that, and if I read 4 books every month until the end of the year, I just finished that challenge with only having series that I finish on there, which I feel pretty good about. So I'm gonna try to do that. So I'm gonna try to get 4 of those at least on this TBR. If a little more, that would be great, because I would rather do a little bit more now so that December can be chill rather than, not doing enough now and December being stressful. But anyway, as usual, we go over the previous TBR. I haven't really made a TBR for September, so we'll go to the August TBR. In August, I had Love is a War Song by Danica Nava for the HRCYED prompt of Indigenous Heritage Month, which I DNF'd. I had The Sirens by Amelia Hart for a book under 400 pages, which I read and I really liked. Invisible Women, Dated Bias in a World Designed for Men by Caroline Piano Perez for an audiobook, which I read or listened to because it was an audiobook. The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan for a middle grade book, which I read. The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan, also for a middle grade book, which I also read. Cold Silver for Souls by Tori Tekken for a fantasy, which I didn't get to. So that's one book that is not read. And then finally, the number 1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall-Smith for the random number generator pick, which I DNF'd. So I just need to decide whether I want to roll over Gold Silver for Souls or not. If you are new to my TBR game, if I don't read a book the previous month, I pick a prompt from the goose jar, and then I get to choose whether I do whatever the prompt says or I roll over the book into the next month. So let's pick a prompt and see what we'll do with Gold Silver for Souls. I'm gonna take one that's like against the side because I feel like this wouldn't get picked otherwise. Let's go with this one. And the prompt is treat as a normal spot. So like on the board, that would be like, you know. So we'd just have to pick a normal prompt. And I think I'm gonna do that just because with the series that I want to do, and then have 2 more books that I definitely want to get on here. Well, actually 3, because I have 1 book in mind for my own prompt. So I don't know how much room I am gonna have left to add also Gold Silver for Souls on there. So I'm just gonna pick the normal prompt, I think, see what we get there, and then pick a book. Let's pick a prompt. And the prompt is cover next color of the rainbow. So that's from the last book we picked. So that would be actually from Gold Silver for Souls. So let me check what I have. So I need to book the next color of the rainbow, which Gold Silver for Souls has a pretty blue cover. So the next color would be orange. And that worked with one of the books in like the series that I talked about. I'm gonna do Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the first book in the Bright Falls trilogy, which is a contemporary romance trilogy. I have already read the second book and I loved it, so I'm really excited for this. I did start this at some point. I only got like 50 pages in. It was just because I was like between books and I wasn't sure what to pick up, so like I read 50 pages and I liked them, but I also liked something else that I want to read, so I prioritized and put this down with the idea to just restart at some point. So I'm gonna do that now, and yeah, I'm really excited. This is the first book on the TBR. So now we have that out of the way, we can go to the random number generator and see what book I'll be reading for that. So we have 529 spaces filled. This number keeps going up. I need it to go down. Oh my gosh. So a number between 1 and 529. 343. Let's see. 343. The Little Black Dress by Deborah McGaugh. Okay, so the random number generator picked The Little Black Dress by Deborah McGaugh, which I'm actually really excited about. I already borrowed this from the library before, but I returned it unread. So yeah, I'm excited to finally get to it. With the random number generator pick, if it fits one of the prompts, I can use it for one of the prompts that comes up. If not, I'll have to add it as an extra book at the end. So with that, let's get into roll number 1. We start off where we ended the last time, and roll number 1, 4 with doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, normal prompt, but doubles mean we have to pick 2 prompts, and then if we can fill it with 1 book, like both prompts with 1 book, I can do that. If not, I have to pick 2 books. So I have 3. That's 2. Okay, let's see. Prompt number 1, a thriller. Prompt number 2, a yellow or orange cover. Okay, let me see what I have. So for role number 1, I had 2 prompts, and that was thriller and yellow or orange cover, and I kind of managed to fulfill both of those with one book. I'm going to pick the Magdalena Codex by Jeroen Windmeijer and Jacob Slavenberg, the third and final book in the Sterke Vrouwen trilogy. Again, one of those 4 books a month that I needed to read. So great. I don't know if the cover fully fits it. It's also kind of brownish, but then brown is not a prompt on there. So like, I feel like if we have to pick a color out of like the colors that are part of the prompts, I think yellow or orange, like probably like yellowish, would be the one. So I'm gonna go, and this fits both. So I'm not entirely sure what this is about, because each of the books in a series follows different characters in a different like case, I will say. But I really like the first 2, and I'm really happy, and I'm happy to go in blind actually. So yeah, I'm excited to add this one. Roll number 2. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we land on the fountain, which means a refreshing drink to catch energy. So we get to skip this, and we don't have to pick a book. So we go immediately into roll 3. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have a goose, so that means a goose prompt. And the goose is looking back, so that means that we add a 6th roll, but it's fine because our second roll was nothing, you know? So let's pick a goose prompt. And the prompt is HRCYED spinner wheel. So for roll number 2, we ended on the fountain, which means we just get to skip that roll. And then for roll number 3, we'll end on the goose looking back, which means that we have to add a roll. So those 2 kind of cancel each other out. And I had the goose prompt of the HRCYED spinner wheel. So it's just a wheel with all the different prompts in HRCYED. I haven't been updating it with like what prompts I've already completed. So if I end up spinning and it lands on something that I've already done, I'll just spin again. So if you see me spin twice, that's why. So let's get into the spinner wheel. So the prompts the spinner wheel gave me was water, which is part of the Avatar challenge. So we need a book with the word water in the title. And for that, I'm going to read The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. I don't know a lot about this book, but I really liked The Last Murder at the End of the World by this author. So I have high hopes. So yeah, I'll try this. Wasn't really my plan to read this month, but you know what? It's fine. Let's get into roll number 4. Roll number 4. 2. And doubles again, and it's the owl, which means that whatever the prompt says, we do the opposite of it because it's at night. And doubles, so we need 2 prompts. So the first prompt is emotional, so like the opposite would be a popcorn-y type read. And hyped, so the opposite would be a book that I haven't heard people talk about. Okay. So roll 4, we once again had to pick 2 prompts, and this time I wasn't able to both capture them in one book. So first we had emotional, but since the prompt was at night, we had to do the opposite, or the square was a nightmare to do the opposite, which means a like book that I read just for like the fun of it. And for that, I'm going to go with The House of Hades by Rick Riordan, which is book 4 in the Heroes of Olympus series, which is once again part of the series that I want to continue on. This is a reread for me. I'm having a lot of fun with these, but it's not like I read them, but I read them just for entertainment purposes, basically, and that is what I consider the opposite of like an emotional read. So that'll be one. And then the opposite of hyped, which is a book that I don't really hear anyone talk about that. And the random number generator book fits this. So for this, I'm going to read The Little Black Dress by Deborah Magog, which is a contemporary book about a woman who is just incredibly lonely. And so she goes to random people's funerals to sort of experience the sense of community among them. And I think that, you can imagine that is going to be quite emotional, so definitely doesn't fit the other one. But yeah, I'm really excited for both of these. So, yeah. Rule number 5. 10 with doubles again. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Normal prompt. We have first person POV and over 700 pages. Are you kidding me? Okay, so then I got doubles again. So first I need a book with a first person point of view, and for that I'm going to put Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. I have already started this, but I have a book club with some offline friends, and we're reading it, and we have this schedule every week of what we're going to read. So I'm just going to put like the portion of the book that we need to read for October to read here, because you know I'm gonna have a 700 plus page book. And then the other one is a book over 700 pages, and again I'm going to be, well, the book I'm going to show you is not really over 700 pages, but I'll explain. And that is Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. The book is almost 700 pages. Okay, it's like 670. I'm not going to do the tandem read though. I debated whether I was going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I will just read at least the first 30 pages of Tower of Dawn in order to consider this prompt completed. I feel normally I wouldn't do this, but I feel comfortable because so many people do the tandem read and sort of it becomes one ginormous book. I don't want to do the tandem read. I just want to read this one first and then Tower of Dawn. But since they kind of go together, you know, I am going to do it that way because I need to also finish the series. So yeah, putting on Empire of Storms plus a couple of pages of Tower of Dawn, book 5 and 6 in the Throne of Glass series. And then the 6th and final roll, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Normal prompt. And the prompt is Deutsch. No. Y'all, I'm gonna die. For the last prompt I had Deutsch, which means I have to read a book in German. Oh, this is not the, okay. I read a book in German, which is, it's good that this prompt exists because I do want to do it more often, but I don't have the motivation because like I don't read in German very often, and so it's hard. But the book I chose was Der Geschichtenbäcker by Kerstin Henn, which is about a bakery and about books, and I don't know much more than that. It feels like a women's fiction-y, and I just know that it's not too long. It's only 250 pages. So I'm gonna go with it. But yeah, that is the final rule, the final book on the TBR. Let's go over all of the books. So we have a deceptively small stack because I don't have a lot of books here. But so from the books that I don't have, I have The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton for the HRCYED prompt of the word water in the title. I have The House of Hades by Rick Riordan for a opposite of emotional, so like a fun, entertaining read. I have The Little Black Dress by Deborah Magoch for the random number generator pick and the opposite of a hyped book, so a book I haven't heard a lot about. I have let me think. Der Geschichtenbäcker by Kerstin Henn for a book in German. I have Phantasma by Kaylee Smith for a first-person point of view. I have Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas for a book over 700 pages. I have The Magdalena Codex for a thriller with a yellow-orange cover. And I have Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herrington for a book with a purple cover. And I think that's all of them. Let me check. Yes, that's all of them. But I do have one more book to add. It's a nonfiction. It is called One Day Everyone Will Always Have Been Against This by, I forgot the author's name. Oh my gosh. It'll be on screen and in the description. This is a nonfiction. I think it's an essay. I'm from the impression that I like. It never says clearly that it's an essay, but that's the impression that I get. It says that it's like a breakup with the West. So the author is an immigrant from Egypt to Canada. And so it'll have something to do with that and just not being happy with how society is, which is a very valid viewpoint. This book, my university has a book club and they're reading this book, so I'd like to join them for that. I think it's going to be very interesting and it'll be an interesting discussion. So I'm adding that as well. So that is a full TBR. I hope I can get all of them. There is some curveballs thrown, especially with one final roll with a prompt that shall not be named. So the TBR looks a little bit different than expected, but when does it not look different than I expected? But I'm actually really excited for it. So yeah, let me know what you're going to be reading in the month of October, and let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of it. If you're participating in TBR Harvest, which you should, the announcement will be linked in the description. Also, please don't hate me once you see my prompt for BookTuber bingo. Okay, that was it. Bye!